what if when they're running through, what if I get to run through the walls, burst through the walls, and maybe run across the ceiling or jump? And he was like, yeah, brilliantly wrote all this stuff in. And then, you know, when the reality of it coming actually to them putting it together, they're like, well, first off, this is expensive.
And you cannot fly.
And you cannot fly.
In the movie, it said that Alok is 350 years old, give or take, and we get a brief history lesson about his journey throughout the centuries. How much of Alok's origin factored into your performance, and did you come up with any additional lore to help you get into the mindset of a character that's been around the galaxy once or twice?
Yeah, absolutely. Great lead-in question. Yes, Tundi, one day, our director, Olatunde, one day we had a nice conversation. I was in South Florida, he was in Los Angeles, respectively. He might have been in Toronto, where Star Trek happens. It's where we film. And he said to me, yes, in structure, in look, in position, if you will, you are, for Section 31, the Captain Kirk. Because I needed a module, so to speak, you know, not a blueprint, but just a model and or where am I as it pertains to this world of Section 31. He said the difference, though, is he has been through a war that has been forever. He is a slave. He is a survivor. He is 350 years old. He said the 350 years old thing lasts. I thought, wow. He said, but he's a captain. He's the guy. And so, to answer your question, yes, what I used in terms of the descriptive nature or sentence that he delivered to me was the survivor and the slave. That's what I used. Being a Black American kid, how could I not use the slave part when ancestrally I come from slaves?
Those are powerful motivators, for sure.
Thank you for that. And so I look back at the eugenics wars that this guy comes from, and I thought, this is where the fans will absolutely have empathy. Our job as actor, whether protagonist and or antagonist, Steve, are to make people feel empathy for our character's journey. And this guy's journey starts in a very war-torn reality. And somehow he got here. 350 years later. And now he's in front of the incomparable Michelle Yeoh's Philippa Georgiou. And they both can find a level of playing field at that parallel existence. She too is a slave. She too went through war. She is not the age of this guy, but he sees her and he sees that she sees him. And there's a coziness and comfort in that immediately for Alok, that he is seen.
Yeah, you can feel kind of them identifying with one another to an extent, and feeling that oneness of having really complicated pasts coming into this story.
That part.
It's good stuff. You mentioned Michelle. So in addition to being suave and a smooth talker, Alok is also somewhat flirty with Philippa. What was it like to act opposite Michelle, and did you do anything special to help establish your character's chemistry?
Yeah, we hung out a lot, for sure, and did so on set and off. In the beginning, harder to hang offset, because in the beginning of production, there was, of course, the Oscars, where a Michelle Yeoh, because of her prior win of a little thing called an Oscar, she had to then give the award out this year, as you know, or the year of 2024, when this production began. And so in the beginning of production, harder to hang out with her offset, but on set, and then ultimately offset as well, on set, an immediate kinship, chemistry, rapport. It was immediately built. She got a lot of my humor. I have a lot of her humor. We think a lot alike, quick-witted, and just tough. She's tough. She's a minority, double minority as well, right? She's a minority woman, and it was really interesting getting to know her and getting to love her, because by the time the camera was rolling, there was actual love there. So we had an opportunity to have built an empathy for Georgiou and for Alok. And she's just so easy to work with, Steve. She's just so easy, so pleasant. No airs, egos left at the door, and trust in what you have to offer. You know, she knows that you're not cast unless you have the thing. So, pretty amazing, man. I'll never forget it, and it's a pinch me moment, but one that I definitely know how confident I was in going in, and I know that she is definitely singing the praises of me in terms of where she sees my future in this career, in this business.
What are you doing in my space station?
I'm giving you a chance to get back in on the action on a galactic scale.
What a cute idea.
All right, got some questions for you about this movie. Robert, can you tell me about the first time you got into Zeph's armor? Like, how much did it weigh? How did it change your mobility, and how cool did you feel while wearing it?
Oh, yeah. Do you know, I've been asked this question 20 times, but I haven't been asked that last bit. So the thing weighed about 50 pounds before it would get wet with sweat, when it would weigh about 60 pounds by the end of the day. It was incredibly uncomfortable, and here's the thing, things that held together with glue don't hold together when sweat gets involved, so as the day would go on, more bits would just keep falling off. It was a struggle, but it wasn't that hard, and it informed everything that the character did. And the first time I tried it on was for camera test day. I tried it on in LA, and we did some fittings and stuff, but like the full unit, like the whole thing, that was camera test day. Wow. And I put it on, and I walked out there, and we were doing, how's he gonna walk, how's he gonna move, let's do this, how's it look on camera, or like doing fight stuff, and then Tunde was like, come and look, come and look, come and look, and then I watched it, and I was just like, I'm the coolest thing I've ever seen. It made it so much more enjoyable every day, just going like, even though I feel like an absolute plum, I look absolutely brilliant. It was so freeing.
All right, Sven, Vulcans are known to suppress their emotions, yet Fuzz is an animated and jovial sort whose actions separate him from the norm. Was it fun to play a Vulcan against type? And did you wrestle with, like, at all with the character's presentation before stepping in front of the camera?
There was a lot of wrestling because we were trying to find out, is he confined to a Vulcan's internal wiring? So that sense of logic, that sense of very stoicism and very poised. But then the conversation that we had with Olatunde was very much like, you must imagine this as just the exoskeleton. But the personality, the temperament, the mood, the emotion, the highs and the lows are what we see as Nanokin. So what would that look like, where you seeing, as an audience member, everything that you know and love and is held very dear to the show, but that mold is broken within the first time you see him. So it liberated me. It freed me because I wasn't bound by what everyone knows and loves. And I think it also puts people a little bit on the back foot because, again, good to marketing in terms of what we've seen in the trailer and a little bit of the teaser stuff. People are like, that's not, what are they doing? What are they doing? And hopefully, when audiences see this, it'll be like, no way. No way.
My wife is a big Star Trek fan. She watched this with me, and when you first come on camera, she saw you in the bar. Yeah. And she was like, she looked at me, she's like, what's up with that?
Exactly.
So it was a nice little surprise.
Exactly.
We're facing a threat unlike anything Starfleet's ever seen.
Billions of lives are at stake. Gather your people. We're gonna need every one of them.
I think everybody at some point or another fantasizes about crashing through walls. You, on the other hand, have actually done it. How satisfying was it to burst through the set, and how many takes were required to complete the scene?
Well,
good question.
That is a good question. Well, it originally started off, we were like, Tunde and I had a meeting over Zoom after I'd been offered the role, and we talked about things we would like to see, and I said, what if when they're running through, what if I get to run through the walls, burst through the walls, and maybe run across the ceiling or jump? And he was like, yeah, brilliant. And he wrote all this stuff in, and then, when the reality of it coming actually to them putting it together, they're like, well, first off, this is expensive.
And you cannot fly.
So we did it. Here's the thing. There were 3 walls. We only used 2 of them in the movie. One of the other ones didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But 3 walls, 1 take each wall. They didn't have extra walls. So the pressure was on every time. You had to get it right the first time. Do the whole thing, explosions, the whole stuff. And for me, personally, as a person who loves doing his own stunts and who loves just smashing things and spends my whole life as a big guy trying not to accidentally hurt people all the time, to be able to have someone go, Rob, just be Rob to the maximum and run through this wall as quickly as you can. Thank you very much. Life moment achieved. Achievement done. Thank you. It was brilliant. It was one of my best days ever at work.
We survive together.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.